Hello guys, this is Crypto Voice here and welcome to another video. I hope you guys are doing great. In today's video, I will be discussing about Hedera Hashgraph. So they are calling themselves the trusted layer of the internet. So let us see what is Hashgraph Platform. So this is basically a diagram of the Hashgraph. So this technology is basically decentralized distributed public ledger technology, which is different from the blockchain, and thus the name Hashgraph is given to it. So that means that Hashgraph is a different technology as compared to the blockchain technology, and this company basically has filed a patent for this technology, which means that no other company will be able to replicate this technology, but they will be able to use their open source platform and will be able to build decentralized application on top of it, and even they will be able to build different cryptocurrencies platform on top of it. So that means that it will support decentralized applications as well as different smart contracts that will be based on top of Hashgraph platform. So this platform is lightning fast, it is secure and fair, unlike blockchain based platforms, and it doesn't require heavy compute proof of work. They are also building a Hedera Hashgraph Council, which I will tell you later. Then we have for developers. So you can build entirely new class of distributed application on top of Hedera Hashgraph using a native cryptocurrency. As I already mentioned that there will be no license required to build application on top of Hedera platform. So let's see what's the vision of Hedera Hashgraph. So platform token. So Hedera will have a native cryptocurrency which will be served as a utility token, which means that all the distributed application that will be built on top of Hedera platform, they will be making some micro payments to Hedera Hashgraph in order to build their application on top of this platform. And also this token will be proof of stake and proof of proxy stake token. So that means that if a user wants to run a node on his CPU, he can do that, and in return he will get some token in reward by providing the bandwidth for this node. So let's see the vision. So their vision is basically to build a trusted, safe and fair online world, which means that it will be a shared cyberspace where you can play games, do work and buy and sell goods and services securely without entrusting a central organization with your data and privacy. So that means that it will be totally decentralized as the nodes are distributed on the Hashgraph. So in this way people will feel safe to communicate with each other and also in their digital communities. So their mission is to take the control away from the centralized world and give it to each individual who can interact with their own assets and can use secure, fast and fair internet where hacking, theft and cybercrime will be impossible. They are also trying to build a mechanism which will support elections, and therefore the election manipulation that has been done in so many countries in the world will be prevented with Hedera Hashgraph technology. So let us see the team. So we have co-founder, CTO and chief scientist Lehman Baird. He is a very experienced professional. He has over 20 years of technology and startup experience, and he has held position as a professor in computer science at the Air Force Academy and as a senior scientist in several labs. Also, he is a PhD in computer science from Carnegie Mellon University. Then we have Mans Harman, co-founder and CEO. Let us see his bio. So he also has 20 years of strategic leadership experience in multinational corporation, government agencies and high-tech startups, and is co-founder and CEO of Hedera Hashgraph. So this guy is also a very experienced person. So then we have Mr. Tom Trowbridge, who is the president. Then we have Patrick Harding, senior vice president. So you guys can go and see the bio of all of these guys. They are all very experienced. These are all the top guys who will be managing Hedera Hashgraph. Then let us see advisors. 7 of them shown on the website. So these advisors are also very experienced person. CEO, CTO, CEO of different companies. and they have different experience in different niches. So these are basically some of their partners and also their system integrators. For the governance, Hashgraph has made a new distributed ledger foundation, and which will be big in the future, because in these days there are a lot of governments that are trying to regulate cryptocurrencies, and no government has come to a conclusion, don't really know what to do in order to regulate cryptocurrencies in the future to provide security and to solve the cyber crimes problem, and also to protect the investors for getting burned in different ICOs. So basically one of the main feature of Hedera Hashgraph is that they have built a distributed ledger foundation. So if you guys don't know, there is a research going on from the last 10 years in Stanford University, and they are basically trying to figure out different legal rules and regulations that can be implemented in the cryptocurrency space. So Stanford University is the best in the world in order to provide some kind of legal advice in this scenario. So Distributed Ledger Foundation, they have their first meeting in the coming May, and they will be meeting Stanford University students and professors who are doing their research in the blockchain technology for the legal and regulation part. So they will be taking part in that will be big. Then they have different conferences in different part of the world, such as London. Then they will go to Singapore, and after that they will be meeting different governments. So if the researchers at Stanford University like this distributed ledger foundation proposal, what they are offering in order to regulate the cryptocurrency in general, then it will be a big thing, because then it will be propagated to different governments, and governments will take decision in order to go with that or not. And in future they will also be having meetings with different foundations such as Ethereum Foundation, Cardano Foundation, and different cryptocurrencies in general, so that everybody knows about distributed ledger foundation. And if the consensus is made between different foundations, then in future we may see distributed ledger foundation as the only organization which will be controlling the regulatory part of cryptocurrency. And if the governments they agree with them, then we will have a secure system that will be based on Hashgraph technology that will manage the regulatory and privacy and security aspect of all the blockchain technology in general. So this will be super big in the future if everything goes well. Then they have different partners. You can go and check the Hedera Hashgraph SDK at this Swirlds. You can make decentralized application on top of Hashgraph. So that is also very big. So then they are teaming up with big companies. TXMQ is a 38-year-old full service enterprise IT solution and staffing company, which is also their partner. Then they have VMS software developers, which are also one of their partners. And if you see this Machine Zone is basically a gaming company, and in the past they have made different games, famous games such as Mobile Strike and Final Fantasy, A New Empire. So these games were built on the first version of the live data platform, Satori. So this Satori platform, whatever application that it will make for the live games or live whatever, they will now make on top of Hashgraph, and which will be super big. And one example is just like a safe city project. So you have the view of live camera, live traffic everywhere. So that big amount of data can be managed by an application that will be run on Hashgraph. So this is one of the scenarios that you can think of. Then similarly, live traffic of airplanes in the world, you can also make that application on top of Hashgraph, and that will work with super fast efficiency. So there will be different applications that will be made in the future on top of Hashgraph. They already have some demo applications that already have been built. They also have some games that have been built on Hashgraph. I highly recommend you guys to go and check the keynote of Hedera Hashgraph. So this is just to give you an idea that what these guys are doing. Then they have Integra Health, which is a startup, and they are basically trying to aid healthcare professionals throughout every step of their career, and that the applications will be built on top of Hashgraph technology, which is very good. So they are also working in healthcare, and they are in partner with Intiva Health. So their partners are overall growing day by day. So they are planned so many conferences in this year 2018, and you guys can see a lot of partners coming up and signing Hashgraph in general. So let us see quickly what's in the white paper. So this is Hedera Hashgraph white paper, a governing council and a public Hashgraph network. So this is what it is all about. A governing council, I already told you that they are building distributed ledger foundation, which will be responsible for the governance, and then they have this public Hashgraph network on which all the application will be made on top of Hashgraph. Even the integration of existing technologies and existing cryptocurrencies will be done with the Hashgraph. So they are building a trusted layer of internet, which is super huge. Then let us see some main points. First of all, they are trying to improve the performance of the network with thousands of transactions per second. Then they are providing security. They have a consensus mechanism and a gossip protocol that talk to each node, and they ensure the security of each node. And we will see about their algorithm in a bit. Then they are trying to do the governance, as I already explained to you guys. Then they are also trying to make the network stable, that will have minimum amount of attacks and minimum amount of risk involved. Even if some of the nodes that get destroyed or something happens, then due to the consensus mechanism, that all the nodes that have information, the transaction will go on smoothly, so the network will be highly stable. And then they are trying to implement regulatory compliance. So this is overall their vision. So this is how it looks, that they are trying to provide high performance stability, security, governance, and regulatory compliance. I highly recommend you guys to go through this white paper in the free time, but I will try to cover all the important points in this review. So here we have a general overview of the blockchain technology and the Hashgraph. So this is on the right is Hashgraph, and on the left we have a blockchain technology. So here you can see that they have a consensus mechanism between the nodes, then each node is connected with another node, and that's how they can verify and provide security of the network. And even this node and this node gets destroyed, but the information will stay in the network. So this Hashgraph system is a cool system basically, and each node will work as a shard. So shard is basically a data structure term, and it means that if I am sending a transaction to another person, then the node that will be carrying my transaction will act as one shard, and it will send a message to the receiver's node. First of all, it will ask for other nodes about the consensus, whether the information is true or not. After it signs the information, then it will send that message to the receiver, and the receiver in return will accept with the consensus of other nodes, and my transaction will go through. In this way, Hashgraph is highly secure, and it's very exciting technology. So let's look at some of the other things. So this graph shows about the Hashgraph latency versus throughput. So let me explain you this in the layman terms. So this depends on region. For example, if I am living in UK, then the UK will be one region, and in one region, if I am sending a transaction from one, for example, if I am sending a transaction within that region, then the speed will be fast. So similarly, all the nodes that will be operating inside the region, the overall speed of the network will be very fast, and it will be like 500,000 transactions per second per shard. That means one shard will be able to perform 500,000 transactions in one region. When we expand to the continent, if for example I make a transaction to United States from the UK, then the time will slightly decrease, and it will only and it will take 250,000 transactions per second with increase in the distance per shard. So that is also a very high rate. So you can just imagine that this is only per shard. So if there are so many shards and so many nodes that are working in parallel, so this can go up to a very high level. So that means that we are talking about the maximum latency of 3 to 4 seconds from anywhere around the world, which is a lot. The Visa transaction, if it is at its peak, then it supports 50,000 transaction per second. But here we have 500,000 transaction per second in a single shard, which is a great and tremendous amount of speed. So that's why, due to such speed, Machine Zone, which is a gaming company, they partnered with Hashgraph because they are thinking that Hashgraph is the only decentralized distributed network that will be able to fulfill their vision, and they will be able to build games on top of Hashgraph. So this is next level, guys. This is totally next level, and they call themselves fourth generation of decentralized distributed network. So this is just an idea of the speed. Then let us see what else. So how they will provide the security of the network. So let us see asynchronized Byzantine fault tolerance. This is basically their algorithm ABFT, and this ensures absolutely fairness amongst transactions. So what happens in the normal blockchain technology is this. For example, I send this many Bitcoin to another user, then my transaction will take place, and the transaction ID, first of all, it will go into the mempool, and the miners will pick the transaction which they will feel suitable for. For example, different transactions have different fee, so the miners will pick those transactions first in the mempool which will give them high fee and high benefit. So in this way my transaction will get stuck in the mempool if I give it a low fee. But in case of ABFT, it will not happen in this way, and there will be absolutely fairness among the nodes. So what will happen is that when my transaction will go into the node, then that node will talk to another node, and all the nodes will give the time step consensus, and my transaction, when it will happen, then all the near nodes and the average amount of time that it will take from all the nodes will be taken into account. And in this way the timestamp will be extremely based on weighted average, which is extremely accurate, and there is no way that can be changed, or that can be changed over the network, and that can be hacked or anything. So this will be absolutely secure. This means that your transaction will take the same time that it will be pegged into the network. So usually it will take 2 or 3 seconds till the completion of entire transaction. So this is how they will provide security and also fairness. It's extremely good and amazing technology. I am totally in love with this Hashgraph. Then they are saying that Hashgraph is ACID compliant, atomicity, consistency, isolation, durability. Then Hashgraph is DDoS resilient, and basically a distributed denial of service will not take place on this public decentralized ledger platform. So this is highly secure. Then they have fairness. I already explained the fairness to you guys. I already also explained the fair timestamps, which will be absolutely awesome. And this is one of the best feature of this Hashgraph, guys. Just imagine you just put a transaction on the network and it only takes 2 to 3 seconds without any delay. You don't need to worry about the transaction ID getting into the mempool, and then the miner will accept it, and then it will go on. So that is such a hassle. And then the fair timestamps will enable this, and the consensus mechanism between the nodes will enable the transaction to go through very fast. So this means obviously that we will have fair transaction order. So governance, I already told you in detail what they are trying to do. And also I forgot to mention that the network will be highly stable, and that means that it cannot be forked. And what is signed state proof? So signed state proof is simple consensus mechanism that I already told you guys, that each node will talk to each other, and in this way they will give their consensus whether this transaction is true or not. So they will check each and every detail, and in this way they will allow the transaction to go through, and there will be a signed signature and weighted average timestamp with each transaction. Then let us see some of the architecture. So this is how they will build their architecture. Here we have the internet, here we have the Hashgraph consensus algorithm, and on top of this we will be having file storage mechanism. Then we will have cryptocurrency and solidity smart contracts. These will be the D apps that will be built on top of it, and these file storages will be provided by different nodes, and that is basically proof of stake. So if you want to give your PC and storage for Hedera Hashgraph, in return you will get Hashgraph tokens, and your storage will be used in this network. So this is how they will build the storage, and they will have a native cryptocurrency that will work with all this mechanism. And I already told you guys that it will be proof of stake and proof of proxy stake. So this is a diagram that is explaining that to you guys. The payment and the service fee will be very minimum in Hedera Hashgraph, and also the transaction fee will be a lot less due to the super fast nature of Hashgraph. Then you guys can go and check all these things in details. So let us see their community. So they have around 19.6k Twitter followers, and they also have around 25k Telegram members. Then they have this Medium blog. So here you can see different posts regarding Hashgraph. So you can get all the details over here and you can read all these posts. Then let us see what we have on the GitHub. So we have 3 repositories right now on the GitHub. So that their main SDK is available on Swirlds. So this is swirlds.com. Here you can download their SDK, which is available to download, and you can see the details over here as well. So let us see what they are saying briefly. New approach empowers business and developers. They are uh, they are giving fair ordering transaction, which I already explained to you guys. Low latency, low CPU requirements, no need of proof of work, low memory requirements, high throughput. So absolutely amazing, guys. So let us see what else. So here we have distributed consensus system. Applications are always available, as reliable as the internet. More transaction per second. Attacker cannot force action, block action, or steal data. Distributed server is more DDoS resilience. Already covered those points. No recurring server cost. No hosting cost or cost per transaction. No data center constraint. Enable scalability. Amazing. So we have what else? For stock and other markets, they will ensure fairness for buyers and sellers. They will ensure high performance. They will prevent unfairly influence of the transaction order. So all these things we have already covered. Then let us see the identity. In the identity, they are telling us about cryptographic community, timestamping, which I already discussed, proof of receipt, also high performance, we already discussed this, also gaming point, we already discussed. This is the SDK on top of which you can build your own decentralized games and applications. So you can go and check this. Then we have cryptocurrency related thing. We have, so this will prevent manipulation. This will support microtransaction, no mining rig required. Absolutely amazing. Then we have online collaboration, resolve simultaneous update instantly, maintain privacy without trusting application host, enables free storage of documents, public ledger, immutable record of history, consensus timestamp on ledger entries, proof of receipt of ledger entries. So we already discussed all these points. So you guys can go and check the SDK on swirlds.com. Then what we have over here. So this is a detailed paper which explains how Hashgraph works. So it is available on swirlds.com. So this paper will explain you each and every node and how it works and everything. So everything is in detail in this paper. So you can go through it and check the diagrams and you will be able to understand how it will work in depth. So let us go back to the Hedera website. So here we have the website. So you guys go and register your interest over here. Right now we don't know anything regarding the sale. So go and register your interest and then you will be eligible to know when the Hashgraph will go online for the sale. This is their overall website. This is how it looks. So these are the things related to their council, which will be distributed ledger foundation. These are the things related to developers, and this section will give you details regarding the token. Hashgraph is a very hyped up technology that will be coming soon in the decentralized world, and it will be game changing, and I believe that it will be super big in the future. So my opinion regarding the project, that I will give it 9 out of 10, and I think that it will be a disruptive technology. It may take over other cryptocurrencies, and I mean big cryptocurrencies. Overall, this is revolutionary and it is 4th generation cryptocurrency and it's innovating in space. It is also patented, which means that no other company will be able to copy Hashgraph technology. So what is your opinion regarding Hashgraph? Do let me know in the comment section. Also, don't forget to participate in the Crypto Voice giveaway. Please subscribe to Crypto Voice YouTube channel and be the part of Crypto Voice family. Till next time, take care of yourself. Bye bye.